Got to make plays. You got to make plays in the passing game in this. But I feel confident because DJ, right? So you look at DJ. DJ missed what? He missed the one deep ball, and then the one that he threw on the ground, his foot got stepped on by the running back. So he missed that one. So I think he missed 3 throws, which is an improvement. And then he put some balls where like were unbelievable. So I think he's really starting to hone in. And then there's not going to be anything schematically that you're going to have to do like to get guys open in this particular deal. It's just going to be, can they win one-on-one with the way that they play. And over the years playing these guys, that's what it's come down to. You gotta try and run the football. But structurally, if you got a 5-man box, they're going to have 7 there really quick, right? If you have a 6-man box, they're going to get 8. So you got to be creative running the ball and keep them honest. Use some RPOs to kind of offset your rush yardage. But at the end of the day, they're going to be up in your face on the outside, and you got to win one-on-one. So I think we can win the one-on-ones. We just got to finish the plays.
In regards to tempo, last year you could trust Trevor, third-year guy, been on for forever, maybe check at the line. Now DJ's looking over to the sideline. You're coming down with a check. He's looking over. Ball's not being snapped until late in the play clock. Is there any way to
I think
speed it up now?
We can, but also too, I think part of it is when you have the noise, you had to communicate all the way down the line. So that kind of slows you down. That takes a little bit of time from that standpoint. So I think once you get environments where you're not dealing with as many of the issues, you can play a little bit faster. But the biggest thing there is just make sure we have the proper communication up front, and we knew it was going to be loud, and you're going to have to communicate all the way down the line to slow thing down. And then also too, trying to take a little bit of pressure off of him, by trying to get him in a better play call in certain situations.
But you guys went under center a little bit.
Yep.
Was that for the running game, communication? What would you want to talk about?
Just to supplement the running game a little bit. You look at the backs and the style of backs that we have right now. You got Kobe and you had Maffa in that game. Both of those guys are downhill. Allows the line to just come firing off the ball. Gets the ball to the back a little bit deeper, see things a little bit better. So I thought that was a good little compliment to what we're doing. DJ's comfortable under center. So just giving us some other options, going forward, as we continue to kind of create what our identity is going to end up being with this offense.
Trotter had the one bad snap.
Yep.
But how do you play over?
Play well.
Did that help him?
Play.
Center at all?
I don't know if the under center as much because you just haven't had as much time, working at it. I mean, this is a guy, he hadn't played. I don't think he played many snaps all year. And then he finds out we all found out at, what time was it, 10 o'clock? I think it was 10 o'clock on Saturday morning that Raber's down and he's in the protocol. And so all right, hey, next man up. But he had an opportunity to work a little bit in practice under the noise. But, man, I thought he played really well outside of the snap. Everybody's going to look at the snap, but when you go and you watch him in there moving around, directing traffic, there's a couple of plays that obviously he could do a little bit better. But overall, man, I thought Trotter really took advantage of his opportunity and gave us a chance.
Still got that thing wrapped up pretty well.
He's got some kind of. It's not like it was. He at one point he was fully enclosed with a club. Now he's just got like a little brace on it there. So for him to only have one off snap and no other issues up under center, I'm proud of Trotter.
Have you ever been this deep in a season and still not know exactly what your identity is?
I can honestly say no, I haven't. It's challenging, but at the same time too, there's an excitement to see how these guys are going to respond. And I can't wait until it just kind of just takes off. And I think everybody's believing that each week, it's going to happen, and that's why they're practicing the way they're practicing. I think that they understand the challenge this week. That this would be a great week for everything to just kind of fall into place. I think they're going to take ownership and excited to get them back over here and watch the tape with them, correct the mistakes, because everything's correctable. It's not like it's guys just going all over the place. A lot of it is guys losing their one-on-one matchups. You have a screen out. I think it was in the first drive. We got a screen and Joe's a little bit confused, so he stops. Young guy. He stops in the middle of the play, results in the TFL. Now you're behind the chains, so now you got to, take a shot, go empty, try to get the ball down the field. So then you're definitely in a 5-man protection. They have the advantage. You lose a one-on-one matchup, you give a sack. And then other things is you get going, you have the snap or you have a penalty. So it's all correctable things. I think that the guys understand what we're doing, right? They have great comprehension. You know, the communication for the most part. I think we had one situation where we didn't communicate properly. That was on the 4th and 1. We didn't get the call on the left side, and because we didn't get the proper call on the left side made a call that resulted in something happening on the right side, and we turned some guys loose. So that was the only time that we just truly miscommunicated. Other than that, it was just, you know, guys just not, you know, getting their one-on-one matchups done.
Some of the former players, wide receivers, they were tweeting Saturday night, Tony, please open the playbook. Please, this isn't our playbook. Is the playbook maybe a little bit scaled down from what it was when
Right.
we were here? And if so,
Right.
is it just because of you, because of DJ?
Right.
You know why?
Right. Yeah, it's the same playbook, you know, for the most part. Obviously, each week the passing game is going to be different. You know, this Syracuse was different from the standpoint of they were going to play what we called their 4 rack coverage, where they start in 3 safeties, they drop down, you know, the middle guy, they play cover 4, right? They were going to give you the hitches, they were going to give you the short stuff, the corners were going to bail, all right? Or they were going to play cover 2, and then have a spy player or a rat player in the middle of the field, so you got to go to the outside. So some of it was limited, and then we got them in some man situations, and we got some one-on-ones, but just in response to those guys, man, it's the same playbook, but you know, right now, you know, you can't throw everything on the table, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to get and establish an identity and get these guys in a rhythm. So we knew we were going to have to run the ball, right, versus that structure with that 3-man structure. We knew we wanted to run the ball, and I thought from an effectiveness standpoint, right, we did run the ball. And then, you know, everyone talks about the rushing output, but there were a lot of RPOs, you know, so the first play of the game, you know, that's a called run RPO. If they're gonna play that overhang defender tight to the box and have 7, we're gonna throw the hitch and get 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of been the extension of the run game. So it's the same playbook, you know. And as the guys really get going and we get our depth back, you know, then maybe we can open it up a little bit more. But the biggest thing is guys just got to make plays. You know, they complete those plays down the field. You know, I think it's a different ball game.
Following up on Davis's question, what do you want that identity to be?
You know, I want that identity to be, you know, a confident group, you know, guys that we throw the ball, you know, when we need to and when we want to, and the same thing, and we run the ball, and you know, we stretch you sideline to sideline, we put the ball down the field. If you're going to play back, then we can put together drives. And I know we had an extension with the fake punt, but you got 2 drives there that were like 13 plays, you know, and you've seen that these guys are capable of putting together drives, but we need to get the explosion back, you know, in our offense.
It seemed like going into the year that the staff was pretty confident in the offensive line and the receivers as well. You felt really good about that group. Has it been surprising at all to not win as many one-on-one matchups and points here?
You know, I think the biggest thing from the receiver perspective was you had everybody coming back, you know, and if you look at it now, the injury bug is hit again, you know, so we haven't quite had the depth. And so you got like a young guy like a Joe, he finds out on Tuesday, EJ's down, you know, Frank's limited, so then he has to move to the field and practice 2 days at a new spot, you know, where he's really been focusing in the boundary, you know, so that's a challenge there, and then you don't quite have the depth at receiver, and then you lose some quality depth on the offensive line, right? You're mixing and matching. I mean, I think we've had 3 different centers in 6 games. Like we didn't anticipate that we were going to have like the musical chairs, you know, that we've had. So definitely had a legitimate reason to have confidence coming in. It's just the situation has presented, you know, some challenges that we're working through, and you know, the guys are like I said, the guys really proud of the guys, you know, especially in this day and age with everything that's going on. I mean, these guys, they continue to fight, they continue to battle, right? They still have the will to win. They're finding ways to win. We're making it extremely hard, you know, but they're finding ways to win, and I believe that ultimately they're going to be rewarded, you know, for their diligence, and hopefully it's this week. That's what I'm believing. That's what everybody's believing, and that's how we're going to approach it. That's how we're going to practice. And if it is, then we're going to build on that momentum.
Tony, speaking of your depth,
Yep.
how close is Shipley to maybe seeing the field again? Are you game planning for him to come back sooner?
You know, I'm optimistic that we'll get him back in practice with us. You know, I don't know if that means he's going to be ready for the game, but I'm optimistic that this week we'll get him back, you know, working with us, because he's kind of been, you know, on the side with the training staff. I mean, with the medical staff.
Is EJ, is that an alternate issue?
I'm not sure. I heard the surgery went well. Everything was good. I'm not sure the actual timetable. I know once he gets back and gets with Danny, you know, he'll give us an update.
Going
Yeah.
The most popular guy is the backup quarterback. When
That's
the
right.
offense is struggling.
That's right.
People that don't even know how to spell Tyson's name are screaming, just give him a series. What would
Yeah,
your
yeah.
answer be to
Yeah.
that?
I'd say DJ has played. He has done what we've asked him to do. He's played better each week, right? So I think he's improving, and we wanted to get. You saw in the first drive we put Tyson in there. We want to have a little bit of package, for him. But then as the game goes on, you just get into that dogfight, and so DJ's doing well. He's playing well. Don't want to disrupt. What he has going on. But obviously for us, Tyson is a guy that we believe can help us in certain situations, and his role will expand as we go forward.
Since that Western Michigan game, their defense was. Since that Western
Yeah.
Michigan game, their defense has been pretty much lights out. What's different? Do you see anything they did different or they just got better?
I don't know. You wearing that shirt right there? So I don't know about that. I don't know. Don't they share the same facility? They do. I know. I'm just messing with you. And you're a true fan because I saw you out here. What was that? Was that Sunday?
Yeah.
Sunday you were out here with your Steelers gear on. So I'm just picking at you. Troy, what do you say? Try to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. But but no, they're just their D-line, is playing with a ton of confidence. They're very, very disruptive. They got a lot of depth, so I think they kind of settled in, at the linebacker spot and who they want in there. And then, there's been some plays that people haven't made, against them that they've gotten away with. But the biggest thing is that D-line is disruptive. They're different than last year. Last year they had the two DNs that were NFL guys, where now they got the two inside guys that are very, very disruptive. So we're gonna have to do a good job, inside managing those guys. And they got depth too. So 8 and 10, are their war daddies. But when they bring in their backups, there's not much of a drop off. So I think they're just playing with a ton of confidence. They got an offense that they know can score, a bunch of points, so they can be aggressive, they can attack, and they're getting really good play, and they're creating a lot of pressure just with their four-man front.
I know you touched on this before, but can you take us through the fake punt, how it all came together with all the pieces involved?
So I didn't know it was getting ready to be called.
Okay.
So I just looked out there and I saw Davis go up and make that play. And I know Coach Sweeney, likes to have something, in everything. Like he wants us to have a couple of trinket plays, on offense. I'm sure they got some specialties on defense, and the same thing in special teams. He wants to have a specialty play. And Bill and Stopwatch do a great job managing the special teams, and funneling it all through Mickey to the players. So that was good execution, great throw. Right, great throw, great catch, and it was big for us because we were able to extend that drive and then go on and score.
Spire's going to get some snaps at quarterback.
Oh, see, we got to get to Tyson first. we got to get Tyson some rest before we get Spires in there.
Tony, I think you said there were some third and shorts, so maybe Dabo wanted to run it.
No, it was the. I think somebody asked me on the 3rd and 6, the last 3rd and 6 before the field goal. That was a situation where Coach was wanting to play more for the field goal, than trying to go get, because we went empty. Tried to go empty, spread them out, see could we find, a hole in the defense, and they did a good job covering it. So DJ throws it away. Now it's 3rd and 6. Instead of putting the ball in jeopardy, let's go with a safe, quarterback run. We're already in field goal range. Let's try and play for the field goal. So that was the one situation there. The third, I think it was 3rd and 6 there. Yep.
When you mentioned the challenge of trying to figure out which buttons to push,
Yep.
at what point did you realize that this team might just be made up a little bit differently and that it might need a little more TLC?
No, probably. Georgia. I thought the guys were ready to play. I mean, they were excited to play. I thought they played hard. Then South Carolina State. So probably the Georgia Tech game. After that, just these guys are, and that was a challenging game too because the structure was completely different than what we prepared for, and they did a good job, and probably from that point on, you just realize that, okay, you get spoiled, you get spoiled. I had Travis for 4 years, but I also remember, the challenges of Travis as a sophomore. It's a little bit different. Same thing. Trevor and Trevor had some challenges as a sophomore. That sometimes now that he's gone and moved on, that people sometimes forget about. And so you just got to go back to meeting the young people where they are. I think all of us, sometimes get caught up in the expectations that are put on us, which we shouldn't, but it's just human nature. You just hear it all the time, and the more you hear things, the more you might start to believe those things. And so for all of us, it's just getting back to the basics, controlling what we can control, and understanding that this is a different group, and we got to meet these guys where they are. And they're in the midst of a big challenge because there's been, depth issues that have created inconsistency at positions. Guys playing all over the place on the offensive line. You got different lineups, and you're seeing different structures. You got some youth, you got some older guys, and then you lose a center, and then your receivers are up and down, and then you lose your running back that's really starting to come on, and your quarterback doesn't play great. Now he's getting better, and things around him aren't quite as at the same level. So you just got to meet them where they're at. And love on them, but at the same time challenge them to do what it takes, because at the end of the day, it takes what it takes, right? We can't change that form. It takes what it takes, and I think they believe in that, and they just got to continue to work and transfer what they're doing here to the stadium.
Tony, when you see Pitt putting up 50 points a game,
Yep.
almost, do you go into this thing thinking you've got to get it at least in the 20s to give yourself a realistic chance in this thing?
We just got to score points. I don't know if there's a number. But we got to consistently score points, and we got to make plays. So putting a plan together is to just put the guys in a position, to have an opportunity to score points, and we're gonna have to make some plays, some big plays. That's how you beat this defense. Because they're structured to make you really, really work if you want to nickel and dime down the field. Right, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to, and what they give you is, because they're so aggressive, the way they're structured, what they give you is the big plays down the field. So we just got to, protect well, and give our guys an opportunity. Quarterback's got to be accurate with his throws, and then guys are going to have to go make contested plays. And that's how it's been even in 16 when we played them. We had to make some big contested plays down the field. I mean, when they beat us in 16, it was still a situation where it was competitive plays, and then we played them last year. I think the game got out of hand a little bit early. They were down some linemen, so it wasn't quite, them at full speed, but we're playing at their place. They're going to be confident, both on offense and defense, and we need to be confident as well, and because we're capable. Now it's just, it's performance, though. We got to stop talking about and living on potential, and we got to go perform.
When y'all do the check with me thing with the line, how often have you seen defenses start to audible to your audible and change their line?
We'll go into the game for the most part, trying to have an idea of how a defense is going to check, and if they're going to check a bunch, then and they're going to check out of what they're in, then we may not do that as much. So typically when we do that, it's maybe a specific play that you have to check, or we're trying to get them to check out of something that we see. So it's kind of a cat and mouse, but not everybody does it. Some people line up and play. Like if you watch Pitt, you'll see Pitt, they'll check. Right, they'll have a blitz on, and then the offense will dummy, and then they'll come back out. They'll raise their hands, and they go back to their base. And Syracuse had some of that stuff too.
Tony, you mentioned earlier it's not an excuse, but that's just been a very different year, I guess, across the country, I guess, in college football. I guess what you're referring to is it the pandemic in terms of?
I think you got a lot of issues, man. You're coming off a pandemic. Now you're going back to school. You're in class. You're trying to get back in that routine. Then you got the pressures of NIL. You're dealing with all of that kind of stuff, and then now stadiums are full. And so all the hype is coming back. So it's just a different time, for these young people. And I think it's a situation for all of us that if we're not careful, right, we can start listening to outside noise. Right, that can influence the way that you operate, and that's always the challenge when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds is maintaining that inside out focus. And for us offensively, is just from a leadership standpoint, we don't have as many leaders, as we've had in the past, because we got so much youth.
We'll take one or two from Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tony, David with ESPN. Two things I actually was hoping to ask you. One, you just mentioned NIL. I'm curious, do you think that that's actually had an impact on maybe how guys are approaching things, or either how they're dealing with success or failure? Like, what do you think the impact on the field has actually been, if anything?
I don't know for a fact, because I haven't had those conversations. I know that guys are working on that in their spare time. And it's like anything else, man. It's just an added, potential distraction. And even if you manage it well, it takes time, And so I'm not saying that that's what the issue is around college football. I'm just, stating that, there's several top teams that are struggling, that are playing teams and games are going down to the wire. And I think also too that defense has had a chance coming out of the pandemic. Defenses have had a chance to kind of get back together, get unified, and teams are playing better defensively than last year. So there's a lot of things, but I'm not going to say that NIL is the issue, but that's just added more opportunity for time to be taken away from their already hectic schedule.
The other thing, I'm doing a story on Georgia's Jordan Davis, number 99. I was wondering if you could kind of give me a little bit of what you saw from him on film before that game and how it compared to the actual performance he put on the field. And would you put him, if you had a Heisman ballot, would he be somebody that you'd be considering for it right now?
I haven't watched enough of them since playing them, but going into the game, I thought he was a very, very dynamic player. He's a unique player. You don't come across guys that big, that strong, and that fast. And he's going to command a double team. You can't block him one-on-one. Very, very disruptive. And then he proved that when we played him. So if you're talking about like a unique guy that potentially could be the best at his position, then he'd be worthy of playing on number one team. He'd be worthy of the conversation. But I haven't seen enough of his videos since. But I would imagine with the success that they're having, that he's the anchor of what they're doing. And what I heard, prior to was that he's an outstanding young man, great leader, kind of provides the leadership for all those guys in that program.
All right, thank you, Coach. Will Spires will be joining us momentarily. Thank you, David.
All right, thank y'all.
All right.